It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That's Soulfly right there with a tune called Gladiator. And on the phone right now, the metal gladiator himself, the one, the only, it's Max Cavalera. Max, how are you, man?
Hey, man, how you doing? Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you, man. Well, Max, you got to be the busiest guy in the history of metal, man. Is 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 bands not enough for you, or what?
Just keep collecting them, man, you know. I don't know. I love being busy. I love to stay busy and creating metal. It's fun, and you know, for me, it was a chance. I already had Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy, but Greg came up with this concept of a project and really hit home. And I really want to. I had a lot of fun doing Nailbomb back in the day, and I thought it would be really cool to do something like that again. And we created Killer BQ, and it was fun, man. I tell you, I love the record. I love the way it came out. I love the guys I did the record with. Great guys. We had a lot of fun in the studio, and I'm hearing all kinds of exciting stuff about the record. People that heard the record really love it, and so I'm really, really pumped. You know, really excited for this new adventure.
Sure. Now, talk a little bit about Killer Be Killed, which is the new project, Max. You know, certainly you run into a lot of these guys, Greg from Dillinger Escape Plan and Troy from Mastodon and what have you. You know, how do you go from knowing these guys when you're out, you know, touring the world to actually finding time and working schedules out to record and then probably to play some gigs with it?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a process. You know, I met Greg when I did Soulfly Omen. We did Rise of the Fallen together, and we kept the friendship going, and Greg called me later to want to do this project, and I decided to roll with it, and we did a demo first, 15 songs, with just me and Greg playing guitar and singing and drum machine. And then Greg had a friend, Dave, that played drums, and it used to be Mars Volta, and was an amazing drummer, and we got together with him and wrote some more songs, and then we all decided that we needed one more guy, and we all decided that Troy was going to be the best guy to call. So we ended up calling Troy, and he joined the band. He loved the idea to be part of Killer Be Killed. So it was, you know, it's great. I never met Troy before, or Dave. So
okay.
For me, it was really cool meeting two guys I never met before. I knew Greg from working with him. He's a very exciting guy, very energetic. And I really love working with Dave and Troy. It was great. He was a great guy. In fact, Troy became one of my good friends in the studio. We hang out a lot, and we end up sharing a lot of time together in this record.
Sure.
In a lot of songs. Me and him got together and did a lot of work together for the album. So it was great. So we are really good friends now, and we really have respect for each other's work. You know, he loved what I did with Sepultura and Soulfly, and I love Mastodon, and it's the same with Greg. You know, I love the Dillinger Escape Plan. He loves Sepultura and Soulfly. So we all have this respect thing that we have between us and our bands. And apart from that, we just wanted to make a real good, strong record, and we went on and did that. And I think it was a really cool record to make, and it's a really fun record to listen to.
Sure. And it's different for you when compared to your personal past. It's very different from anything that you've done. I know, you know, especially Cavalera Conspiracy definitely rings sort of Sepultura and Soulfly, but I guess that's because you're in it. This doesn't feel like that. This feels like something completely different and you know, and vibrant, I guess is the word. Is that how you see it too?
Yeah, I had fun doing, you know, I really got involved with the writing process of Killer Be Killed. I ended up writing a lot of the riffs that came on the record, and eventually in the studio, Greg didn't want to play rhythm guitar, so I ended up recording all the rhythm guitars of the whole record except for one song.
Okay. That
was really fun. I really loved my involvement on that. And then I'm the one that sings last, in fact, on the whole record. I sing less than the other guys. I wanted to do that on purpose because I already sing so much in Soulfly and Cavalera that I was like, you know what, it'd be fun not to sing so much. Just take the kind of background, stay in the background, and let the other guys do their thing. And I think Troy sings the most, and Greg is the second. I became the third. But it's great. I love that, and I kind of love the fact that it came out like that naturally. And a couple songs I asked for the chorus, like Face Down and IED and Curb Crusher, because I knew what kind of chorus I wanted to do with it. But everything else just divided with the guys, and we share different ideas and let them do all the choruses. And because of that, I think this project is special, because everybody just did something different on each song. And when you hear the whole record, it's really surprising, and really it's unique sounding because of that, you know.
Sure. And now, one thing that does stand out when you listen to the record, especially with several listens where you really get into the lyrics, is how politically charged this is. And like you said earlier, it definitely reminds of Nail Bomb, because it's so cutting, you know, politically. Was that you that wrote all that, or is that Greg, or is it a little bit of both, or what?
A little bit of both. You know, me and Greg, we wrote more of the political lyrics, Face Down against police brutality. You know, a lot of the stuff, Set Fire to Your Flag, Curb Crusher, they're really kind of political motivated. And then there's some mythical stuff like Icarus on Wings of Feather and Wax. Snakes of Jehovah is about those priests in like Alabama that hold snakes and do the sermons with the snakes. And then there's Hercules on 12 Labors. There's a song Forbidden Fire that's about metal kids in Middle East that are not allowed to listen to metal, and we think that's very courageous of them that they listen to metal no matter what. And so yeah, it was a little bit everything. There's even sci-fi in this record. Save the Robots, which is a Troy song. Sure. He wanted to do a robot song, and he did even a robot voice in the beginning of it,
right.
which was really funny and cool. And so I mean, it goes from political to mythical to sci-fi. So it's really kind of a record. It's out there, man. It's shooting in all directions, and I think that's great. You know, it's really, really liberating because of that.
Sure. Now, for you personally, as somebody that tours the world pretty much nonstop, you see a lot more, you know, of what goes on politically, not just here. I think when people hear that it's a political record, they think it's only, you know, American politics. But you, as somebody that's all over the world all the time, you see all the different political situations. When you write about stuff like that, do you sometimes worry that certain countries or certain places won't let you come in because your stances might be against their culture or their politics or what have you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, what right is right, and I think, you know, referring to a song like Forbidden Fire, I think it's wrong that the government banned them from listening to metal. I think it's bullshit. You know, right. I think that everybody should be allowed to listen to metal. It's a great form of music, and I just think it's incredible courageous of those kids of the Middle East that they don't, even if they go to jail, they don't stop listening to metal. That's so awesome. They do that. You know, I really have to tip my hat off for them for doing that, for being that courageous. We take it for granted here in the West because if we have black shirts and tattoos and long hair, we don't go to jail for that. You know,
right?
Society just gives a bad, you know, looks at us as criminals, but we don't go to jail. There's nothing against that, you know. But in the Middle East, it's actually against the government to do that. So we felt that we should do a song like that. Me and Troy strongly felt the message is good. It's a good message that we should do it, you know. And I mean, when you have to voice your opinion, you have to do it and back it up with what you believe. And that's what I do. And, you know, I stand behind the stuff I said in the lyrics. And, you know, I believe in them, and I stand behind the lyrics. You know, that's what comes down to it.
Sure. Max, you worked with one of my personal friends, Joel Macgyver, on your book. Talk a little bit about working with Joel and how that experience was.
It was great, man. I mean, the book idea was my wife's idea to make me decided to write a book, and it was a great idea of her. And I think my story was a great story that needed to be told, and such a unique story coming from Brazil and achieving my dream with music and metal, and a lot of cool things happened in those 30 years of history. And, you know, Joe was our guy, man. He was like, I loved the stuff he read. I loved the Slayer book, the Motorhead book, the Metallica book. You know, he just had such a great way of writing, so easy writing that you can get into it and read, and it's not complicated. It's actually real cool and easy writing. And I talk a lot with Joe on the phone. We did thousands of hours of interviews, and it was great, you know. And we worked for 3 years in the book, and it's finally coming out. And we heard it's actually doing really good all over the world, so I'm very proud of that. I think it's a great story. We had great people involved. Dave Grohl did an amazing intro. There's like Mike Patton and David Vincent and Dino from Fear Factory and Sharon Osbourne, all these great people from the music world that are in the book. And the book itself is really fun. It's a fun book to read. It's got tragedies and glories and fun things and sad things, so it's kind of a roller coaster, but it's really, really interesting read. And I think anybody who get into when you read the book, I think you get into the story. It's really, really powerful.
Very cool. Well, Max, will you have time to tour with Killer Be Killed, or do you go right from here to Soulfly or Cav Conspiracy, or what? I guess what is coming up for you?
Yeah, we go. We do Soulfly the rest of the year. We go to Kazakhstan tomorrow. We do Russia with Korn, and then we do some European festivals, Hellfest. 4th of July with Black Sabbath and Motorhead and Soundgarden, which I'm totally excited for this show. And then we do a U.S. tour, and then I switch gears, go to Cavalera. Cavalera new album coming out in October, and then we go to South America with Cavalera. And then next year it's Killer Be Killed time.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do a bunch of shows with Killer Be Killed. Hopefully we can put at least 2 months aside for Killer Be Killed to do an American tour, 1 month in America and probably 1 month in Europe in festivals. That would be great.
Awesome. Well, Max, before I let you go, I have to ask you what's known as the traditional classic metal show question. We ask this to everybody, and you've mentioned this band a couple times this interview, so I'm sure you'll have an answer. How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
Oh, amazingly. It's just for me, Lemmy's like the godfather of thrash. I think without him, thrash would not be even invented.
Right.
I think he gave the starting line, the starting point of thrash came with him, and stuff like Overkill and Ace of Spades. Mm-hmm. And I have a great story with Lemmy. First meeting Lemmy in London in '89, bugging him drunk one night when he was playing his little machine thing. And he poured his whole glass of whiskey in my head to leave him alone. And I thought it was so cool. I was like, I just got baptized by Lemmy, man. In my head, my crazy head, that was a baptism. For him, it was just wanted to get rid of me, stop bugging him. And he's just a great guy, man. We did some tours together, and he's got great sense of humor. Very smart, very very intelligent guy. Knows a lot about history and. Mm-hmm. He's a very one of a kind, and I like a lot of what he stands for in the rock world, in the metal world. He is what he is. He doesn't care about what people say. That really reflects on a lot of people, and I think that's why a lot of people really like Lemmy for that. And I hope he's doing better. I heard of his problems and illness and having to cut the show short at the festival that he was doing, and he's scheduled to play with us with Black Sabbath at Hyde Park. So I'm very excited to see him again.
Excellent. Well, Max, the name of the new record is just Killer Be Killed, and as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track. So what would you like us to end the interview with, and maybe tell us a quick story about it?
Yeah, let's hear. One of my favorite songs is actually the first song, Wings of Feather and Wax.
Okay.
And there's a funny story. There was a song was kind of a throwaway when we first wrote it, because it had this kind of Max riff in the beginning, and then a second riff that was kind of a YouTube Sunday Bloody Sunday kind of poppy riff that I didn't care much for it, but it was fun to play. Mm-hmm. And we kept going back and forth in this jam in the practice room, and it was like really catchy. We just kept doing, and then we took the song to the studio. And once we sing on it, once Troy and Greg and I sing on it, the song just came to life. It just kind of blew everybody away, and it became the first song on the album. We're not even open with that. We're going to open with Curb Crusher.
Okay.
Well, once we heard Wings, it just has an awesome vibe to it. You know, I really especially like Greg's chorus that he came up with, the Icarus swing, and it's really catchy. And I love the song. I really think all the elements of Killer Be Killed can be found in the song. The mix of thrash and melodic and everything is on this song, so it's one of my favorite songs on the record.
Well, let's check it out right now. It is Wings of Feather and Wax. It's Killer Be Killed right here on your Classic Metal Show.